Hey there, Awesome Hope volunteers. Guess what? It's another week at Hope Kids, and I am so excited for not this Friday, so not tonight, but next Friday night on the 21st, we're going to have our Dream and Dessert Night here. That's right, I want to invite you guys all from 7 to 9 here at Hope, where we can talk about and vision what's happening next year at Hope and have a little bit of fellowship time between your volunteers. Again, we have no childcare because I want as many people to be involved in this as possible. So I invite you to Dream and Dessert on September 21st from 7 to 9 next week. The next announcement that I have for you guys is our lesson for the week. We are still on God will fight for us. And so God will fight for you this week too. And so we are doing the Walls of Jericho, one of my favorite stories that I can't wait to teach. And it's so fun. I hope that you don't just share the story from the back of the page that I have for you guys, but I hope that you're able to act it out this week. We're actually going to be making little mini trumpets for the kids, and we're going to be putting actually blocks inside of your room. So I hope that you enact this, whether they are 2 years old or all the way to kindergarten. They are going to love reenacting the story of the Walls of Jericho. Now, inside of your life, I can't help but think about the worship song that we've been singing inside of church, and it's called I Will Do It Again. So if you've never heard this song, please go look it up on YouTube and listen to it. It literally has to do with the fact that God will do it again. So even though we've been marching around these walls just like they did around Jericho for 7 days, thinking, God, how is he going to make these walls fall? And he does, because God is so faithful and he will fight for us. Some words in this song is, you have never failed me. And I know that inside of these little preschoolers' lives, they haven't had the situations that we have as had adults, but I feel like every single Jericho that God brings into our life, God reminds us of how faithful he is, and he is never going to fail us, and he's going to continue to fight for us no matter what. It's also that we know that the battle is won. And that's right, that they knew as they were marching around the walls of Jericho, that battle was going to be won for them because God is on their side. So whatever battle you're fighting in your life, remember that the battle is already won when you have God on your side, and you do. God is for us, he is not against us. And that's even our memory verse for the pre-Kers, that if God is for us, who can be against us? So I hope that you can take that take away from the Walls of Jericho this week too, just knowing that the battle is already won for you, even though you don't know how it's going to happen. They didn't know how the walls were going to fall. They were just faithful and obedient in what God's told them to do. So I hope that can encourage you this week, that just be faithful into what God has asked you and called you to do. My 2 tips for the week. I have two tips for the week. The first one is to remind you to check in as a volunteer. We really go by those numbers of you in the room, not only the kids. So if you don't know how to check in, or if it isn't working for you to check in, please make sure that you talk to me or one of the other check-in people and make sure that you get that sticker. That's also a way that our security guys actually know who is working for us and who isn't inside of those rooms. And so it's a 2-step process. It's actually so that I can make sure that I know my counts for my volunteers, and the other thing is for our security team. The next tip that I have for you is having to involve those coloring pages that I put inside of your room. In 2s all the way through 4 years, we always have that coloring page. And I know that it seems like it's just one more thing that you do inside the classroom, but I am reminded over and over again, especially this week as I was standing at the door and watching the parents go out, they're actually flipping it over to the story on the back to see what their kid is learning during that time. So even if you don't have time to be able to color that coloring pages, if it's been a chaotic day for you, make sure you're still sending those coloring pages home with the kids, because it's how the parents know what story we're doing inside the classroom, so that they can actually continue to ask their kids a story, or maybe they're even learning it for the first time. Isn't that exciting? Where the preschool ministry can actually be the first time that these parents are in like knowing all these stories in the Bible, which I think is so awesome. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and can't wait to see you on Sunday.